Welcome to my channel, The World of Science Fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Asterisk, the human exploration vessel Horizon Gate drifted silently through the edge of the Crimson Nebula, its hull glowing faint gold from the storm of cosmic dust. Commander Jackson Reed stood at the viewing deck, staring out at the strange, pulsating lights that shimmered like living veins across space. Something about this region felt wrong, and yet strangely alive, as if the universe itself were holding its breath. The sensors had been flickering since they arrived, detecting massive life forms, huge energy waves, and structures shaped like spirals that no human eye had ever documented before. Even the crew felt uneasy, whispering about ghost signals and ancient warnings buried in old star maps. Jackson tried to ignore the cold sinking feeling in his chest, but when a colossal shadow moved beneath the ship's smooth, graceful, alive, his breath froze. It wasn't a ship. It was a creature, yet also a vessel. And when its glowing tendrils wrapped gently around the Horizon Gate, guiding it toward a dark, unfamiliar world, Jackson knew this was no ordinary encounter. The Valari Dominion, a species humans had only heard of in scattered legends, had finally revealed themselves. And they wanted him personally. The shuttle descended into a world that looked like a beating heart frozen in twilight. The ground pulsed faintly under his boots as if alive. The air shimmered with unknown energy that made his skin tingle. The towering palace ahead wasn't built. It had grown from the living planet itself, twisting upward like a colossal flower. The doors opened on their own, inviting him in, and he stepped into a throne room unlike anything he had imagined. The walls breathed, glowing with shifting colors that seemed to study him. Every movement echoed softly as if the entire palace listened. At the center stood the Valari Queen, tall, elegant, frighteningly beautiful, her presence so overwhelming that Jackson felt his thoughts blur for a moment. Her eyes were ancient, older than human civilization, yet sharp and intelligent, examining him like a puzzle piece she had waited centuries to find. Her voice didn't enter his ears. It sank directly into his bones, warm and commanding. She spoke about humanity's rise, their unpredictable strength, their untamed spirit. She described humans as a storm, chaotic but full of life. And then she said she had been watching him, not humanity, but him specifically. His battles, his decisions, his courage, his refusal to kneel. Her admiration felt too intense, too focused. Jackson felt like prey, like he had stepped into a trap he couldn't see. Before he could respond, the Queen lifted her hand, and a soft glowing light emerged from behind her throne. The Valari princess stepped forward, and Jackson's breath caught instantly. She wasn't just beautiful, she was unreal, almost painfully perfect. Her skin shimmered like liquid gold, her hair flowed like strands of light, and her eyes were alive with colors humanity had no names for. She moved with a grace so soft that even her footsteps seemed to melt into the air. When she looked at Jackson, he felt warmth spread across his chest, as if the universe itself paused to admire her. The princess introduced herself as Arale Veles, heir to the Valari Dominion. Her voice was gentle and melodic, each word brushing against his mind like a comforting touch. She stepped closer, studying him with curiosity and a hint of longing. Jackson felt overwhelmed, not just by her beauty, but by her presence, like gravity pulling him toward her. The Queen watched with a strange smile, a mix of pride and expectation. As if this moment was rehearsed for centuries. Then came the moment that changed everything. The Queen extended her arm toward Arale and spoke the words that froze the air around. Jackson. She was offering her daughter to him. Not as a gesture of friendship, not as a political alliance, but as a sacred bond that would tie two civilizations together forever. If he accepted, humanity would gain protection, unimaginable technology, and access to the vast Valari network. If he refused, She did not say what would happen, but the sharp intensity in her eyes made the silent threat clear. The princess stepped closer, her golden glow warming his skin, her soft breath brushing against him. She whispered that she had seen visions of him long before today, that their bond could reshape entire galaxies. Jackson felt pulled in two directions: temptation and survival. She was stunning, irresistible, almost divine. And yet deep in his heart, he felt a warning. A choice made under pressure wasn't a real choice. A bond forced wasn't love. He wasn't a prize, a trophy, or a symbol to merge two empires. He wanted freedom. Humanity wanted freedom. And accepting this offer felt like giving up a piece of his soul. His voice trembled as he spoke, but his resolve remained firm. He refused the queen's offer. The throne room fell silent. For one breath, nothing moved. Then the queen's expression shattered into fury, so immense that the entire palace trembled. A wave of energy burst from her body like an exploding star, cracking the living walls and sending shockwaves through the ground. The princess gasped, her glow flickering as if her heart had dimmed. The queen's grief twisted into rage powerful enough to tear the planet apart. She screamed that he had insulted her, rejected perfection, defied fate. The Valari guards materialized from hidden passages, weapons aimed at Jackson, while the palace screamed like a wounded creature. The princess stepped in front of him, shielding him with her own body, begging her mother to stop. Jackson realized the truth. His refusal had broken something deep inside the queen, not because she wanted him, but because she believed destiny itself was collapsing. And in her despair, she was dragging her entire civilization with her. Aralee pleaded with her mother, tears glowing like liquid gold, reminding her that unity couldn't be forced. She said humans were unique because they chose their own destiny, not one written for them. But the queen, blinded by pain, unleashed another wave of unstable energy that cracked the palace floor into glowing rivers. The ground quaked violently. Towers began to collapse outside the windows. The entire planet roared as its core destabilized under the queen's uncontrolled power. The Valari Dominion, one of the oldest and strongest empires in the galaxy, was tearing itself apart because of one human word: no. Realizing the danger, Jackson grabbed Aralee's hand and pulled her away, her glow lighting the collapsing hallways. They sprinted through melting corridors and falling structures as alarms blared across the city. Outside, massive Valari ships turned frantically, trying to escape the planet's collapse. The sky cracked with energy storms as chunks of the palace fell like stars dying in slow motion. Jackson and Aralee reached the shuttle just as the ground split open beneath them. The engines roared, lifting them into the air, and as they escaped the atmosphere, they saw the heartbreaking sight below. The Valari capital world was collapsing inward, its core glowing like a wounded sun, its structures falling like broken bones. A civilization that had lasted thousands of years, destroyed in minutes because of grief and pride. Aralee watched silently, her glowing tears drifting like tiny stars. She whispered that destiny was not destroyed, it had simply changed. She had no home now, no throne, no empire, but she still had a path, and it was beside the human who dared to choose his own fate. As the shuttle jumped into warp, Jackson realized the terrifying truth. By refusing the queen's offer, he had ended an empire. And by saving the princess, he had created a new future that no one human or alien could predict. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful HFY sci-fi tales every week.